So we're going to continue the paddles conversion. So next we've got a I don't know that, oh, it's an improvement for the ratchets in the knee to fix his knee doing the Hasbro dance. So we're going to remove the 2 screws and open up the thigh. Now, to have better access to the thigh, it's easier to open this bit up a little bit and start transforming the leg a little bit. And so then we're just going to pull it open. Now, you see there's a light gray rectangle. That is the original ratchet. So this little gold piece, I'm just going to clean it up a bit more. But it's going to go inside that ratchet, so as the knee bends, it will have less play, tightening up the knee so his legs aren't nearly as floppy. Now getting it in there is easier said than done, because it's a tight fit. That's what she said. And so trimming and sanding are going to be your best friends. And there we go, it's fitted in place. So then we're going to just reattach the leg. Put the cover back on and put the screws back on, and then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. With the ratchets improved, and you can see he's no longer doing the Hasbro dance. So next we're going to start the foot upgrade. So all we're going to do is pull the stock feet off of the friction clip. Now it takes a little more force than I would like, but once they're off, then we're good tearing him apart for a minute. So we're going to set him off to the side and then jump into the feet. So I'm going to go ahead and skip till after we've got the parts cut and ready. So before we get to the feet, we're going to build the flippers. So the flippers come in 2 pieces, and those 2 pieces are going to sandwich around a mushroom peg. Now there's 2 left and 2 right flippers. So all I'm doing is putting the left and the right halves together so they're all sorted and ready to go. So the flippers all peg onto this friction clip with a mushroom peg on the other side. It's exactly the same for all 4, so it doesn't matter which one goes on which mushroom peg. So we're going to pop it apart, drop the mushroom peg down, and then peg the other half onto it. And I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, I glued these together so that they would stop popping. And we'll skip. I've done two. The other two are exactly the same, so well, scratch that. This is quick and easy, so we're not going to skip it. And with that, the flippers are done. So for the front flippers, we actually need these two pieces. Or I'm sorry, actually, no, those two pieces are for the forearms. So let's jump ahead. We're just going to friction clip this piece into two of the flippers. Now you can see there's a gap on one side, and so the other side needs to go on its peg first, but to really get it in there you need to bend it just a little. I would not put too much pressure on it, and there's the first one. So then we'll put the fin back on. Like I said, I eventually glue all of this, but I wanted to make sure I had the parts fitted correctly and assembled before gluing, because once glued, it's really hard to unglue. So these flippers that I've put this mushroom peg in this friction clip on, those are going to be the front flipper, or the rear flippers. For the front flippers, we're just going to rip Sludge's dyno feed off. And then we're going to just bring in two of our flippers and then just friction clip them right on. And there we go. Now, because I haven't glued them yet, if I have them backwards, I can just easily reverse them. So with that done, now we're going to do the new forearms. So the new forearms come in two pieces. Now you want to match them up properly, because basically they're going to form a hole that it will peg around the mushroom peg on those other two flippers. And there we go, there's the one, so that means the other two is simple deductive reasoning. And so now we'll bring in Sludge. So what we're going to do with Sludge here is we're going to take this screw, all three screws out of his arm. Now for the new arms, we will only need two of the screws. And the third one. So we'll just slide the old forearm off the elbow joint, pull this entire plate with the fist attached to it off the old forearm. So we'll bring in the new one. So the fist has to transform. So it's going to go on the other side. So that peg isn't the right size, so flipping it around, now the fist is fitting properly. So then that'll go back onto his elbow. Then we're going to bring in the other half. Now, before we screw it together, we need to bring in the flipper. Now, orienting this is a little tricky, and a simple an R on each part would have made it simpler. But the forearms are also mirrored, so then they would have had to make unique molds for them. So then we just, and some of my legendary camera work. So we just peg that mushroom peg, or we slot it into that slot, sandwich the halves of the arm together, and then we put 2 screws in. Alright, that's one arm done, so we'll fast forward through the second one. The last thing we're going to do is attach the new feet. They just slide right onto the friction clips his old feet were on. And it's a tight squeeze by design. I was just making sure I didn't have my feet backwards. And as you can see, there's a notch in the front of that arm, so it just slides right in through there. And there we go. That's the new foot attached. So we'll do the same thing on the other side. Now again, I did end up gluing the feet because they weren't wanting to hold together very well. That was an old foot I grabbed by mistake. So we're going to bring in the other foot, make sure it's oriented in the right position, and then clip it on. There we go. And now, full disclosure, I reversed his legs because I wanted his legs to be the other way, but it doesn't work for transformation, so I have to put it back to the stock configuration. So then we're just going to put the parts that fell off him back on. Is my dinosaur wings and some of the other stuff were very loose and not wanting to fit very well before. We put the new dinosaur head right into the same clip the old one was in. Now I'm not entirely sure why it's not wanting to slot in, but I also had trouble getting this dinosaur head on in the first place. We go, now it's in. And so I think we can officially redub him Paddles. So here we have our upgraded Dinobot in all his glory. So lastly, we have some accessories for him. We have his new guns, as well as something special that I've been holding till just this moment. Before that though, we gotta make him official, so let's put a faction symbol on his new chest plate. And we'll go with that size. That size looks pretty good. This particular sheet isn't cut quite as well as I would like, but we're going to make do. Because if you look, the symbol's actually cut off center, and that's it's bugging me a bit, but until I get some new ones, that's all I got. So here's what I've been keeping in reserve. These are not only the blades for his new sword, or his gun swords, but also they are his Dino Mode flippers. Now, Nonnef sells them in, when I bought the kit, he sold them in two options, red or clear orange. Red is more appropriate to me. The clear orange looks cool, but that's that fall of Cybertron scheme, and I wanted the G1, so I wanted a more traditional red. So we're going to snap these off the sprue. And that one didn't want to let go, so real quick, let's sand them smooth. And again, applying some heat to them from a heat gun will get rid of the stress marking. That's 3 and 4. Now, these will all store on him in robot mode. You don't have to take them off the flipper. But for me, for robot mode, I like to take them off the flipper. They have a dedicated peg on the new gun. Now, the barrel is 5mm, so he can hold it as a traditional sword by the barrel. Well, I guess not a traditional sword, but like a typical sword. But what I like to do is, since the end is articulated, I just prefer to put them into the bottom of his hand, and so he can use them as a tonfa. So we get it in there, and now he has this cool ass clawed tonfa weapon. And then we've also got the original gun that came with Sludge with its new rocket tip. So he's decked out. Now, transformation's exactly the same, so I'm not going to show it on video. But here we have Paddles in his new plesiosaur mode. He looks good. Now, the kit costs almost as much as the figure himself. So unless you're a fan of Paddles, or you're just somebody like me who wants more Dinobots, because I want a G1-ified Scorn. Anyway, thanks for watching.